Om Shanti Didi. Can you hear me, Didi? Om Shanti.
Yes. Can you hear
Didi.
me?
Yes, Didi.
Okay. Om Shanti सभी को.
Om Shanti Didi. अभी हम आपका थोड़ा परिचय देके स्वागत करेंगे.
जी.
ഇന്ന് നമ്മുടെ എല്ലാവരുടെയും സൗഭാഗ്യത്തിന്റെ ദിനമായിട്ട് ദീദി മൻമോഹിനിജിയുടെ സ്മൃതി മാസത്തില് നമ്മുടെ മുന്നിൽ എത്തിയിരിക്കുന്നത് ആദരണീയായ രാജയോഗിനി BK അരുണ ലാഡ്വ ദീദിജിയാണ്. നമ്മുടെ എല്ലാവരുടെയും ഭാഗ്യമാണ് ഇന്ന് ദീദിയെ നമുക്ക് ക്ലാസ്സിന് വേണ്ടി കിട്ടിയത്. ദീദി ജന്മം കൊണ്ട് കെനിയ, പഠിച്ചത് ഇംഗ്ലണ്ടില്, വർക്ക് ചെയ്തത് കാനഡയില്. നോക്കൂ, ഈസ്റ്റിന്റെയും വെസ്റ്റിന്റെയും എല്ലാം കൾച്ചർ മനസ്സിലാക്കി ജീവിക്കാനുള്ള ആ ഒരു സൗഭാഗ്യം ദീദിക്ക് ലഭിച്ചു. അതിനുശേഷം നോക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ദീദിയുടെ ലൈഫിൽ 8 വയസ്സ് പ്രായത്തിൽ തന്നെ ദീദിക്ക് മെഡിറ്റേഷന്റെ അനുഭവം തുടങ്ങി. 14 വയസ്സായപ്പോൾ തന്നെ ദീദി തന്റെ ജീവിതത്തില് വളരെ ഡീപ്പായിട്ട് തന്റെ ജന്മോദ്ദേശം മനസ്സിലാക്കിക്കൊണ്ട് സ്പിരിച്വൽ ട്രൂത്ത് റിയലൈസ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് ദീദി തന്റെ ജീവിതത്തിന്റെ ഡിസിഷൻ എടുത്തു. അതിനുശേഷം ബാബയോടൊപ്പമുള്ള ഈ ജീവിതത്തിലെ 30 വർഷമായിട്ട് തന്റെ ജീവിതത്തെ സമ്പൂർണമായിട്ടും ഈശ്വരീയ സേവനത്തിന് വേണ്ടി സമർപ്പിച്ച്, പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് നമ്മൾ നോക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ബാബ ദീദിയെ ഉപയോഗിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത് അറബ് കൺട്രീസിലെ സേവനങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ്. അപ്പോൾ തന്നെ നിങ്ങളൊന്ന് ആലോചിച്ച് നോക്കൂ, എത്രത്തോളം ജ്ഞാനയുക്തമായ യോഗയുക്തമായ ഒരു യോഗ്യ ഇൻസ്ട്രുമെന്റ് ആയതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ബാബ ദീദിയെ ഇത്രയും വലിയ സേവനങ്ങൾക്ക് ഉപയോഗിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ തന്നെ നമുക്കറിയാമല്ലോ, നമ്മൾ നോക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ദീദി കാനഡയില്, തുർക്കിയില്, കുവൈറ്റില്, ബഹ്റൈനില് ഇവിടെയെല്ലാം ഈശ്വരീയ സേവാ കേന്ദ്രങ്ങൾ ആരംഭിക്കുന്നതിന് നിമിത്തമായിട്ട് മാറി. ദീദിയുടെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ഒരു സ്പെഷ്യാലിറ്റി, ദീദി എല്ലായ്പ്പോഴും യോഗയുക്ത ആത്മാവാണ്. നിങ്ങൾ ഫേസിൽ തന്നെ കാണുന്നുണ്ടാവുമല്ലോ, ദീദി സെൽഫ് സ്റ്റഡിയാണ് ദീദിക്ക് എപ്പോഴും ഇഷ്ടം. കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്, ദീദിയുടെ കയ്യിൽ എപ്പോഴും ഡയറിയും പെന്നും ഉണ്ടാവും. അത്രയധികം സെൽഫില് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആളാണ്. ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ബാബയുടെ സ്പിരിച്വൽ സ്റ്റഡി, അതിന്റെ ഹോംവർക്ക്, സെൽഫ് റിഫ്ലക്ഷൻ, അങ്ങനെ സ്വന്തം അനുഭവത്തിന്റെ ആധാരത്തില് ദീദി സ്വയം ഒരു പീസ് അംബാസിഡറായി മാറിക്കൊണ്ടാണ് വേൾഡ് വൈഡ് ആയിട്ട് ഇത്രയും അധികം സേവനങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കണേ. ധാരാളം ഇന്റർനാഷണൽ റിട്രീറ്റ്സിന് നിമിത്തമായിട്ട് മാറി. ദീദി ഒരു സ്പെഷ്യലി കോൺഫ്ലിക്റ്റ് സിറ്റുവേഷൻസ് വരുമ്പോൾ അതിനുള്ള പരിഹാരം നൽകുന്നതിന് വളരെ നല്ല എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ബാബയുടെ ഒരു ഹാൻഡാണ്. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ദീദി വളരെ നല്ല എഴുത്തുകാരിയാണ്. ധാരാളം പുസ്തകങ്ങൾ ബാബയുടെ രചിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. നല്ല സ്പിരിച്വൽ ഓഥറാണ്. ദീദിയുടെ പുസ്തകങ്ങളുടെ ഒരു പ്രത്യേകത, നിങ്ങൾ ആ പുസ്തകങ്ങളുടെ പേരുകൾ കേട്ടാൽ മനസ്സിലാക്കും. ദീദിയുടെ പുസ്തകങ്ങളുടെ പേര് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ടൈം ഫോർ റിലേഷൻഷിപ്പ്, ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ടൈം ഫോർ ചേഞ്ച്, ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ടൈം ഫോർ സെൽഫ് എംപവർമെന്റ്, ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ടൈം ഫോർ മെഡിറ്റേഷൻ, ഫോർ കൂൾ. എല്ലാ പുസ്തകങ്ങളും ആരംഭിക്കുന്നത് ഇങ്ങനെയാണ്, മിക്കവാറും പുസ്തകങ്ങളുടെ പേര്. അപ്പൊ തന്നെ നമുക്ക് വ്യക്തമല്ലേ ദീദി അത്രയധികം ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് ഈ സമയത്തിനും, ഈ സമയത്ത് പരമാത്മാ പിതാ നമ്മളോട് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറഞ്ഞു അതിൽ തന്നെ കോൺസെൻട്രേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് ഫുള്ളി ഫോക്കസ് സെൽഫിലാണ് ദീദിക്ക്. അതുകൊണ്ട് സ്വന്തം ജീവിതത്തിന്റെ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉപയോഗിച്ചിട്ടാണ് ദീദി സർവീസ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ദീദിയുടെ അനവധി പുസ്തകങ്ങളുണ്ട്. 50 കാര്യങ്ങൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന മറ്റൊരു വിശാലമായ പുസ്തകമുണ്ട്, അനേക ടോപ്പിക്കുകൾ അടങ്ങിയ പുസ്തകം. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള സർവശ്രേഷ്ഠമായ ഒരു മഹാരഥി ആത്മാവാണ് നമ്മുടെ സന്മുഖത്തെത്തിയിരിക്കണേ. दीदी आज हम सब की बहुत बहुत सौभाग्य का दिन है. दीदी मनमोहिनी जी यज्ञ में हमने सुना है, दीदी मनमोहिनी जी ऐसा सेल्फ स्टडी और योग की गहन अनुभूति में बहुत एक्सपर्ट थे, एग्जाम्पल थे। उसी दीदी के इस स्मृति मास में हमको उसी दीदी की जैसे आप जैसे एक महारथी आत्मा जिन्होंने सेल्फ स्टडी में और योग युक्त जीवन में इतना इम्पोर्टेंस देख करके बाबा की सेवा कर रहे हैं, हम सब के लिए एक बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल लाइफ आपका है। हम सब दूर से देख रहे हैं और फील कर रहे हैं आपका जीवन। हम आपकी क्लासेस भी सुनते हैं और आपका फेस भी इतना, बाबा कहते हैं जैसे अपने चेहरे और चलन से बाबा की सेवा करना है, और आपकी चेहरे से ही वो वाइब्रेशन हमको मिल रहे हैं। आप जितना खुद के ऊपर, जितना खुदा के ऊपर आपको अटेंशन है, जैसे जानकी दादी बोलते हैं, उतना आप खुद के ऊपर होमवर्क करके अपना एक्सपीरियंस से सेवा कर रहे हैं। हम सब के लिए बहुत इंस्पिरेशन दे रहे हैं। हम पूरे देवी परिवार केरला की और चेन्नई की बीना बहन की तरफ से, पूरे केरला की बाबा के बच्चों की तरफ से, सभी निमित्त टीचर्स बहनों की तरफ से आपको बहुत बहुत दिल से स्वागत है दीदी, स्वागत है, स्वागत है, स्वागत है दीदी। और हम सब की तरफ से आप एक फूल बाबा की घर की फूल स्वीकार कीजिए।
Thank you so much.
दीदी हम अभी बाबा की याद में 3 मिनट बैठेंगे, आप दृष्टि देंगे, उसके बाद हम क्लास शुरू करेंगे। साइमल्टेनियस ट्रांसलेशन भी होंगे दीदी।
ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच, वेरी हैप्पी टू बी हियर।
थैंक यू दीदी।
आवाज से परे, मधुर साज से भरे, अंदाज में बुलाए बाबा, पुकार के बच्चिया। आवाज से परे, मधुर साज से भरे, अंदाज में बुलाए बाबा, पुकार के बच्चिया। सितारों से दूर, सितारों का जहां, रहता परम सितारा, बेहद सुकून वहां। सितारों से दूर, सितारों का जहां, रहता परम सितारा, बेहद सुकून वहां बच्चिया। बच्चिया नूर समंदर दिखता सुंदर, लहराए निरंतर, आनंदित अंतर। मौजों की मौज लेने का है समय, वो प्रेम डोर से खींचे वहाँ। जी भर निहार के लिए पंख प्यार के, हम उड़ चले। आवाज से परे, मधुर साज से भरे, अंदाज में बुलाए बाबा, पुकार के बच्चिया। सुन ली मृदुल स्वर में वो बोले, कुर्बान करके आ पुराना जान, सुन प्यार से पुकारे वो शिव क्षमा, जी भरे निहार के लिए पंख प्यार के हम उड़ चले।
Shanti, thank you, Minaben. Thank you, everyone. And very happy to be here and spend this afternoon with all of you. So I will begin with my experience of coming into Gyan, and then I will lead into Didi Manmohini from there. So we came to England from Kenya in 1973. And just 1 year after living in London, we got a leaflet through the letterbox. And in England, the letterbox is in the door, not on the side of the house. And so the leaflet came, my mother picked it up, and she said to my father, let us go and hear this lecture. And at that time, my mom and dad were already trying to get settled in London, trying to settle all of us, the children. And so when they saw that there is something like this, something of Bhakti Bhavana, then they said, let's go and see. And that time, actually, it was Sudesh Didi who was going to be doing the lecture. And so they went along, and of course the topic was who is the sermonizer of the Gita, which is the common topic, right? And so they heard the lecture and they liked it a lot. And then the little family, it was a couple with 3 girls. So this family, this couple, they had a little Gita Pathshala. They had organized that in the school. And so then my family went there to do the meditation course. Now, it wasn't just my mother and father, it was my Masi, Masa, so my mother's side, her sister, her husband, my mother's brother, right? Mami, Mama, and all of their children and all of us. So it was like 25, 27 of us that went. I was very small at that time. So I wasn't sitting in the classes. I was playing with their daughters. They had 3 daughters, also my age. So I was playing with them. My mother's side, her sister. And at that time, there was only there were 3 locations. So one was where Dadi and Jayanti Ben and Sudesh Didi stayed, which is North London. And then there is Ilford, where there was Manju Ben and Satish Bhai. And then this further further east is this couple. Shortly actually after that, they left Gyan. So they became instrument to pull our family to the knowledge. They gave everyone the course. Even at that time, my brothers took the course, but not everyone continued. And I also just continued going with my mother to the center because I was very attached to my mother. So wherever she went, I went. But I will say that also inside there was the pull to be with the Brahmin family anytime. So anytime mother was going to the center, I would want to run to the center. So this continued. I was 7, 8 at that time. Then when I was 14, and this must have been around 83 or late 82. So what happened is 18th of January, 1983, we spent the whole day at the center. So in the morning, we went to Baba Bhavan. Baba Bhavan was the house where Dadi and Jayanti Ben and Sudesh Ben were living. And so there was morning program, silence, bhakti, then Brahma Bhojan. And then we were going to leave. But one of the sisters said, why doesn't Aruna stay back and she can help me? And you come to the program in the evening. The program was going to be in central London, in Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. And you take her from there. And so my mother said, okay. And I said, okay, because, again, happy to be there, happy to help, and just feeling very comfortable. But I remember that day was really the birth of this soul, because every time I looked at Brahma Baba that day, I just had tears. And I didn't know why I was having the tears. Every time, because on that day we meditate a lot, right? We sit in silence, you go before Murli, after your breakfast, all the time. So every time I started to sit in yoga, I was just having tears. And of course, I'm so young, right? What does a 14-year-old know? She doesn't know anything, what's going on and why. And so anyway, I just kept wiping my tears. And then after that, slowly, I just felt a pull to want to go to the center. And at that time, Mommy and Daddy were going to the center just twice a week. They were going on Thursday and on Sunday. But I told Mommy I want to go every day. Now, there is a brother, and he is still in Gyan. He's become old, but he's still in Gyan. He's an English brother, John Bhai. And he was coming to the Ilford Center at that time. So his house was here, the center was here, and our house was here. So he offered to pick me up every day. He would go to the center for Amrit Vela, then he would pick me up for Murli, go to the center, drop me, and then he would go to work. So he did this for about 2 weeks or something, 2-3 weeks. And then my daddy felt, sorry for him because, because he was, going to all this trouble. And so then Dad said, okay, let us go to Murli class. So then we started going every day. So Mom, Dad, and myself. And then soon after that, my sister Jasu Ben, who is in London Center now, and Nimu Ben, who is in Hounslow Center now. So then bit by bit, they started to come. So actually, I say that 10th of March, 1983 is when I started regular morning class and Amrit Vela. And as I said, I was about 14 years old then. So as you know, Didi left the body in 1983. So we were already in Murli class when Manju Ben told us that Didi has left the body. And of course, I had been to Madhuban with my parents when I was young, and I had met Baba. I had met Baba in meditation hall. And that time, Baba gave me a blessing, and Baba said, you don't think you're too young to be a teacher, do you? And again, I didn't remember this, but my mother remembered, my auntie remembered, everybody remembered that this is what Baba said to me there personally. I still have that photograph of meeting Baba in the meditation hall. And then after that, I started going to the London Center every Friday. So lately I've been very interested in Baba's classes, in the history of the yajna, and I've been listening to many classes. And I could see the pull that they had to run to the center, to be with the Brahmin family, to be with Baba, to be with Mama. And you can say that I had that similar pull. There was no problem at home. In fact, we were a middle-class family, and I was the smallest, so I got everything I wanted. So there was no sorrow, there was no sadness, there was nothing missing. But I just felt a pull to go to the center every Friday. So on Thursday night, I would prepare my bag. I would pack my bag, I would have it ready in the morning, and then I would go to school. And as soon as I came home at 4 o'clock, I took some money from my mom for the train, and I took my bag and I would go to the London Center and I would stay the weekend. So I would stay Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday, Mommy and Daddy would come to class, the main center, and then they would take me back. And I remember it was 1 hour's journey from East London to North London. And again, I can't really express, but there was just this pull. And of course, Dadi was there. Dadi was much younger. Sister Jayanti was much younger. Sudesh Didi was much younger. And just enjoyed being in their company. And every Saturday night, there used to be bhatti in Baba Bhavan, 2-hour bhatti. And then after that, Sudesh Didi would give class, or Sister Jayanti, whoever was available. And I looked forward to that so much. And again, when I used to sit and have drishti, and I would always try to sit in front of the floor and take drishti, and I just used to feel so much love, so many tears of love. And then when I was 16, then we had holidays, school holidays, and there was going to be a teachers' meeting. And so they were asking who would like to be in this retreat, like a teacher's retreat. And because in England, we have 6 weeks holiday. At that time we did, I don't know now, but at that time we had 6 weeks holiday. And so then I decided that I would like to go and spend the 6 weeks. So when I went there, and the retreat was meant to be 1 week. So then we did the retreat, and then I stayed there. And at the end of the 6 weeks, I didn't want to come back home. And then Sister Jayanti is telling me, you must go back home, you must go back home. And I'm saying, no. And then she said to me, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. And then I got a little upset and I came home, and then I became, I sulked. And so during that year, I didn't go to the main center, but I kept going to the local center. So every day I would go to the local center, and then Mom and Dad would go to the Sunday main center, and I would stay at home. Of course, afterwards, I learned, I grew up, I realized. So I connected with Dadi and Jayantiben again when I wanted to go to Madhuban. So this was now when I was 17, and I wanted to go to Madhuban. And so they told me that you have to take permission from them. So I took permission I went to the main center, and Dadi was there, Jayantiben was there. And again, so much love. Just like you read in the books, like how much love Baba gave. So in the same way, Dadi gave so much love. And she would say, okay, what do you want? What do you want to do? She speaks to you so sweetly. Even my mom was very loving. My mom was amazing. My mom never talked badly about anyone or anything. But somehow this Dadi also was my mom, this feeling that she's equally my mom. And anyway, so then Dadi said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go to Madhuban. And Dadi said, okay. So again, I went to Madhuban for 2 weeks because that was the Christmas holidays. But then I never came back. So after the 2 weeks, again, I went to Madhuban, and then I didn't want to leave Madhuban. And you know, these little Kumaris, they think, okay, today she's saying this, tomorrow she might say something else, and she might change her mind. So then Jayantiben and Dadi decided, okay, let us stay in Madhuban. So I stayed maximum of 3 months in Madhuban. And actually every month I'm changing my ticket. And in those days, Gopal Bhai was changing the tickets, and he was getting annoyed that again, you have to change your ticket. And so after that, then Dadi asked me, what do you want to do? I said, Dadi, I don't want to go back home. So Dadi said, okay, you go to Baba Bhavan, you stay there until I come. And so in London, there was Baba Bhavan, there was Tennyson Road. And so I stayed in Baba Bhavan. I left end of March, and Dadi came like 2-3 weeks after that, because Dadi normally stayed on for the teachers' meetings. And then Dadi came, and then, of course, the rest is history. Like, then after that, Dadi put me in this office and sent me here and there, and that is the start, you can say. So, yes, so I want to say that it has been an amazing journey. And the more I am in Gyan, the more I feel the fortune of this knowledge. And I feel like Baba has saved me, saved us, saved the Kumaris from so much pain. Of course, it wasn't easy. There were obstacles. And of course, there were many challenges and many sanskars, many karmic accounts. But still, throughout all of that, I would say that I never let go of Baba's hand. And Dadi always kept me in her thoughts, and she would also even phone me if I was in another country. And the thing is that in London, I had worked with Dadi and Jayantiben for 8 years. So I was their assistant for many years. And so that created the foundation between Dadi and myself, Sister Jayanti and myself. And then that was the binding foundation, you can say. So wherever I went, there was always that closeness. And all the time, I could refer to them if there was any problem or anything. So I want to say that really, until and unless we grind our own ingredients of knowledge, we don't realize how lucky we are. And I think we have to churn the knowledge ourselves. Nowadays, it's so easy to just sit in front of the YouTube and listen to somebody's class or take inspiration from somebody else's effort. But I think when you grind your own ingredients, so in other words, when you take the knowledge and when you churn it, when you write, when you reflect, then there is a click in the mind and there is a click in the heart. And when we feel the knowledge, we have to feel the knowledge. When we hear the Murli, are you just hearing the Murli or are you feeling the Murli? Are you hearing, okay, Baba said this, Baba said, remember, but look behind the words. Why did Baba say, remember me? Because Baba wants to protect me. Because Baba wants me to always stay above and beyond, away from the pull of this material world. Actually, if you think of this, just this one point, why Baba says, remember him? Because Baba is the highest vibrating frequency. Think about it. In the universe, Baba is the highest vibrating soul. And so when I connect with that soul by just thinking about Baba, by just thinking about his qualities, then I come into God's frequency. I come into God's vibration. And this is what I need to do. If I'm caught up here with anything material, even this body, if I'm caught up with this, then where is my energy? Am I accumulating or am I depleting my energy? So when Baba says every day, remember him, remember him, remember him, it's because Baba wants us to be free. Baba wants us to be liberated. Take your supplements. Even exercise. Every day you have to do some exercise. You can't say, okay, I'll do 10 hours today and then I will not do for the month. Can you say that? No. So every day I have to be disciplined, and every day I have to put in the oil, as Baba says, oil in the soul so that the light can burn. And so this is the program that Baba's created, is the Amrit Vela and the Murli. And I must say that ever since the start, I had a lot of love for Amrit Vela, and Amrit Vela has been very easy for me. I know a lot of double foreigners where they struggle with Amrit Vela. In fact, there was one sister in America where I stayed, and she just couldn't wake up. She couldn't wake up for Amrit Vela. She had a very hard time. And you know how many alarm clocks she used to keep? 5. She used to keep 5 alarm clocks. Each one 5 minutes later, 5 minutes. So 3:30, 3:35, 3:40, 3:45. And still she couldn't wake up. So what I'm saying is, if you are easily able to wake up in the morning, then really count that as a blessing. You are very lucky, you are very fortunate. Because Amrit Vela is the time to take power. And this is really my experience. I'm not just saying this. If I don't wake up, of course, it's never the case. If, say, for example, I'm traveling or something, or early flight, and then the Amrit Vela is messed up, then yes, there is a missing feeling. But it's not just about that. When we sit at Amrit Vela, do we feel that connection with Baba? Do we feel that Baba is talking to us? I feel that Amrit Vela should be a time where we feel that Baba is talking to us, not I am talking to Baba. Rest of the time we are talking to Baba. Even evening meditation, I'm talking to Baba. But at Amrit Vela, I should be so quiet and silent that I can hear what Baba has to say to me. But again, I need to be alert, and I need to be fresh, and I need to be excited. I need to be eager to hear, what does Baba have to say for me? And then when I start to feel that, when I start to feel, Baba's love, Baba's vibration, Baba's blessings, then the next day again, I want to go. Again, the third day, I want to go. The next day, I want to go. And so my experience has been, yes, if Amrit Vela and Murli are there every day, then you're creating a good foundation for the day. Okay, even regarding the Murli. When I was in London as a Kumari, again, I used to keep 5 notebooks, this little size. like a fourth of A4. I used to keep this little size, 5 little notebooks. And I forget all of them, but I know one of them was the Golden Age, one of them was Mama Baba, one of them was Dharna. I forget the other 2. But if I heard any point on Mama Baba, I would write it in that book. If I heard any point about Golden Age, I would write it in that book. And I loved points on Dharna. And so I would write it in that book. And so there was this interest, there was this natural interest to study. So this is what I'm saying to you, that every day, it's not enough to just hear the Murli. Are you reading the Murli again? Are you churning on the Murli? Are you writing about the Murli? Because if you want to master anything, you have to go into it. You have to go into the depth of it. If you want to master carpentry, if you want to master cooking, anything, you have to study it. You have to study all of it. And so what is our study here? Our study is perfection, right? We are here to become perfect. So our study is perfection. So what does that mean? That means that I have to perfect my thoughts. I have to perfect my feeling. I have to perfect my vibration. I have to perfect my words, my actions. So what does that look like? What does perfection in an imperfect world look like? And it shouldn't be that I'm perfect and I say, oh, I'm perfect, meaning with ego, I'm perfect. No. With perfection, there has to be that humility. With perfection, there has to be that love and compassion. And that is why we have the image of Vishnu. So just as there is the power, in the same way, there is the gentleness and the softness. So this is what I would say also about our seniors. I remember when Sudesh Didi, when I was in the kitchen doing whatever, little bit, and Sudesh Didi would come and she would say, oh, why is this in the sink? Very gently, very sweetly. She wouldn't shout at me and she wouldn't say, oh, look, see what you've done. But just with a lot of love, she would say, what is this in the sink? Meaning maybe there was extra leaves, dhania or rice or something that is going to go to waste. But she would, tell us so sweetly, even the tea. She used to say, why have we put so much tea leaves in the tea? Maybe we should put less. And actually, even we learned this from Sister Jayanti and Sudesh Didi, that we didn't have notepads. We used to use the scrap paper. Because from the office, there was always old paper or paper that was printed on one side that wasn't useful anymore. And so even when I was working with Sister Jayanti, I remember I would take that paper and I would cut it into small pieces and I would bind it together and she would write notes on that. So again, this embodiment of economy, and this is actually what Dadi taught us. In everything, Dadi was generous, but also there was economy. And this is, where did Dadi learn it from? Dadi learned it from Baba. Dadi learned it from Mama. Dadi learned it from Didi. Let me tell you one story of Brijendra Dadi. So what happened is, in those days, Baba used to go to see the plays in the theater and in the Lokik time, right? Brijendra Dadi is Baba's daughter-in-law. And Baba would always decorate her with so many diamonds. Minimum 2 lakhs worth of diamonds Baba would decorate her with all the time. And diamonds, not gold, always diamonds, right? So Baba used to go to see the plays, and he used to always book the royal box. So when he went to see, he took Brijendra Dadi, and maybe there was a few others. But next door was the Queen of Nepal. And so her secretary told her that next door is Lucky Babu's daughter-in-law. So she came to say hello. And when she came to say hello, she was shocked. She was stunned at the number of diamonds that Brijendra Dadi was wearing. So next day, they got a phone call from the king, and he said, "You didn't tell us that your daughter-in-law is here, right, in Calcutta." And Baba said, "What should I do? Should I put it in the newspaper? What should I do?" And so they were joking like this. And then the king said, "We would like to come and see her tomorrow." And I phoned a few other people, and they would also like to come. And so Baba said, "Okay, most welcome." And Dadi Brijendra said that Baba was number one in hospitality. And he would make all kinds of food and, all kinds of comfort. But the important thing I want to share with you is, so that day when they all came, Baba gave Brijendra Dadi a box. And inside the box, there was rings, anguti. And these were diamond rings. And Baba said to Brijendra Dadi, "You put this, you give them as a gift." And so then Brijendra Dadi, she said she tested everybody's finger, and whichever one fit, all the guests got a ring. So you can imagine minimum how many thousands of rupees was each ring. And this is how generous Baba was. And one of the stories that Sister Jayanti was sharing is when Baba left, and then after that, Didi Manmohini and Dadi Prakashmani became the heads, they had to think, should we continue with the gift giving or not? Because everybody got gifts, right? Madhuban Nivasis, guests, even the local people always got gifts like blankets. And then Didi and Dadi decided that whatever systems Baba has started, we should continue with those systems. And if the yajna has survived beggary part, then how can the yajna not survive today? And so they continued with their big heart. And I see that also with Dadi Janki in London. Even seeing her in personal meetings, even in London, in Madhuban, somebody comes. I remember one time, a couple, but this couple, both of them were in Gyan. This brother and this sister were both in Gyan. And again, I happened to be there, and they came together. And so Dadi thought, okay. And then they themselves said, "Dadi, we have got married." And I was waiting to see the shock, on Dadi's face. But Dadi doesn't go into shock. Dadi goes into silence. And Dadi looked at both of them this way and just gave them drishti. And she didn't say anything. Why did you do this? What's the reason? What was missing? What was nothing. And on the contrary, as I said, I was there, and Hansaben was there, and Dadi says, bring the gifts. And Dadi Dadi gave them towels, and Dadi gave them candles, and Dadi gave them toli, and and the same thing, the same way that Baba would handle all the children. There is a story of they used to complain that Buri Dadi, who used to bring all the vegetables from the market. So they would complain about Buri Dadi. And they would say, Deko, she's brought a very bitter turi, like this Indian zucchini, turi. It's very bitter, Baba. Nobody can eat this. And then Baba would go to the vegetable area. Baba would say, okay, everybody sit. Let's start peeling the vegetables. Let's start peeling the turi. And Baba would say, it is not her fault. Like, it is not Buri Dadi's fault that the turi is bitter. And Baba said, Baba will make it sweet. And so they cut the turi, they put it in a little bit of salt, and then they cooked it. And Santri Dadi said that was like the sweetest sabji that they had eaten. And so she was saying that, Baba never said to Buri Dadi, what have you done? What have you brought? Again, on the contrary, Baba said, Acha, aiho, you must be tired. Have some water, have some toli. With so much love, right? Baba took care of them, guided them, nurtured them, sustained them. It was amazing. Okay, so let me come now to Didi Manmohini. So, as I said, yes, I got the news in 1983 while I was sitting in class. But when I went as a child to Madhuban, so that must have been like 8 or 9, I went to Madhuban. So again, that time, Didi used to be in that room next to Baba's room. And where the Ishudadi's office is, between Ishudadi's office and Baba's room, there is a room. And so Didi used to have her meeting room there. There used to be a bed there. And so Didi would meet us in small groups. And so Didi was the one who first gave me my silver ring. And Didi gave all of us presents. And then I remember I took something, I didn't like it. I wanted something else. But again, Didi was very loving and she changed it for me. So that was my encounter with Didi. But let me just maybe tell you a bit of background about Didi. So Didi was born into a very rich family, very rich Sindhi family. Actually, it was Mukhi family. And they are still, the name is there, the house is there, the Mukhi museum is there. The house is actually turned into a museum now. And so Didi, and actually all of them were interconnected in some way. So Dada Anand Kishore was a cousin, Dadi Prakash Mani was the cousin of who Didi married. And even before Baba became Baba, they knew each other, they used to visit each other. And Didi's Lokik name was actually Gopi. And Didi had so much love for Krishna that, again, she was not really interested in marriage, but like with everyone, they have to get married. And so Didi was just always looking for Krishna. And actually Didi's mother, who is Queen Mother, so Didi's mother wanted that Didi marries into Baba's family. But according to drama, that didn't happen. And then Didi married somebody, another rich family, and he was okay at first. But then Didi's mother went to Om Mandli, and then she went the next day, and then she sent the car back and said that Didi should go join her. So Didi joined her there, and when Didi went there, she sat in this gathering. But as soon as she sat, and as soon as her eyes met Baba's eyes, she started to see this discus in the center of Baba's forehead, like a Swadershan discus. And she said that, she was very much present. It's not that she went into trance, but she's sitting there and she's seeing this. Again, she closes her eyes and opens, and again, it's still there. And then she would have vision of Krishna. Baba is Krishna. Again, she opens her eyes and again, Baba is there. So that was the period where everybody actually was having visions of Krishna. Even Jashoda Mata, she used to say, I go to give him food and I see Krishna. Even Brijindra Dadi, she said, I go to give him, I serve him food and I see Krishna. And then after a few minutes, he becomes Baba again. So that was the period of the visions of Krishna. So anyway, Didi then started to go with her mother, and Didi's younger sister is Shil Dadi. And let me just tell you a little bit about Shil Dadi. So again, I was, I don't know, according to drama, according to karma, I was also quite close to Shil Dadi because, I don't know, when we went to Madhuban, she was very friendly and very light-hearted, always making jokes. And somehow I got attracted to her lightness. And so many times I would just run to her room. She would stay at the bottom of training section. And I just became very close to Shil Dadi. And, you know, every time I had some Maya, I would go and tell Shil Dadi. I wouldn't tell Dadi Janki, I would tell Shil Dadi. And you know what Shil Dadi used to do? She used to hold my hand and she used to take me to Baba's hut. So many times, because so much Maya, so many times she would take me and we would go and sit in the hut, like middle of the day, sometimes mid of the morning, mid of the afternoon. And she would just sit and she wouldn't say anything. She wouldn't tell me off. She wouldn't tell me, no, you shouldn't have Maya. No, she would just sit and give me powerful drishti. It was amazing. I mean, now I see it's amazing. At that time, I thought, okay, I'm just, you know, being obedient. I'm going with her. I'm sitting in front of her. But now I realize, as I grow up, I realize it's amazing how you teach somebody, how you help somebody. So yeah, this was Didi and my relationship. So back to Didi Manmohini. So yeah, Didi Manmohini was coming with her mother and Shil Dadi. And actually Didi's grandfather, Asharamji Dada, was also coming. But then what happened is when the anti-Om Mandli started, they started telling him, why are you going? You shouldn't be going because, you know, because of Didi, the whole household will be broken. And then Dada also stopped going and he told Didi to stop going. But then what happened is Didi's sister-in-law, so Didi's brother's wife was going. And so she would take Didi with her. And then Didi's husband found out and Dada found out, and then they locked Didi. And not only, okay, locked is okay, but then Didi's husband was beating her. He beat her 2-3 times. And once he threw a bottle at her or a glass or something, and it hit her head and she got hurt. And so that's when her mother found out, then she said, come back home. But when she came back home, then as I said, the Dada was not happy. And again, they prevented them from going. So she was not only running away from her in-laws, but then also her parents' side, she was not able to go. Finally, Didi found a way. She escaped and went to Baba. When Baba moved from Hyderabad to Karachi, Didi, Queen Mother, and Shil Dadi, they moved. And then what Baba did is Baba got them a separate house because they were from a big family. They were from a big name and these people could do anything. And so Baba got her a separate house where they lived. So, you know, they can say we are living separately. This has nothing to do with Baba, with nothing to do with Om Mandli. And then Baba also got her a sewing machine so that she could be sewing and making money from that. So she can tell everyone that I'm living on my own, I'm sewing, I'm doing tailoring, and I'm on my own feet. And so this is how the first few years of the yajna continued. Then finally, of course, they gave in, they gave up, and they knew she's not coming back. And then Didi became Mama's right hand. And Didi started to take training from Mama. And actually I can see how Dadi Janki took training from Didi, how Didi took training from Mama, Mama from Baba. See the distance on the Gyan, the Yoga, it's all very similar. The same kind of dedication, the same kind of generosity, the same kind of big heart. And so, yes, Dadi took training from Didi. And then Didi was, as I said, right hand of Mama. And after that, when Mama actually left the body, then Baba called Didi to Madhuban. So during that time, right, after 65, Didi was in Madhuban. And then when Baba became Avyakt, then of course Didi was making trips to different centers, but her base was now Madhuban. And as you know, when Baba left the body, then Dadi Kumarka was there, right? Baba had called, Dadi Kumarka had come with a group from Mumbai. And so Baba said to Dadi Kumarka, can you stay back? And Dadi Kumarka said, yes, Baba, because Dadi Kumarka was in charge of all the printing and everything in Mumbai. All this karobar was done from Mumbai. A lot of the admin was done from the literature and all that from Mumbai. And she used to take care of that. Actually, they used to say Dadi Kumarka is of Mumbai and Didi is of Delhi. And so Baba said to her, can you stay back? She said, yes, Baba. And I think all of you know that Baba showed her everything that day, right? I think you must know the story that Baba guided Dadi Kumarka in everything. He showed her all the construction. Baba said, this has to be finished. You have to do this. So Baba did everything. Baba also wrote letters to everyone. On that 18th of January, he was in the hut writing and completing all of that. And then in the evening, Baba said to Dadi Kumarka, let everybody have early dinner and let us then meet, because Baba didn't come in the morning for Murli. So then, Dadi Kumarka fed everybody early. They gathered at 8 o'clock and Baba spoke to them like 8:30, something like that. And that's when Baba said, right? Nirvikari, Nirankari, Nirakari banna hai. And then Baba went into his room around 9 o'clock. And that's when he said he's not feeling well. So Dadi tried to, massage him here. And then he just left the body. And he was holding Dadi Kumarka's hand. So then after that, on the 21st of January, when they were offering bhog to Baba, and again at that time, I think you might know that nobody wanted to go into trance because nobody wanted to take this responsibility. Each of the trance messengers, they were afraid that will we be able to bring back the correct message? Because before they had Baba as a backup, as somebody to verify the message. But now, and so then Dadi Kumarka asked Dadi Gulzar, and she used to call her Gul. She said, Gul, you will not disappoint me, will you? Means you will not say no to me, no? And so then Dadi Gulzar said yes. And then Dadi Gulzar sat to offer bhog, and Sister Jenti was sitting in front at that time. So Sister Jenti has related this story herself to us, that then when Dadi Gulzar opened her eyes, they knew that this is not Dadi Gulzar. This is Baba. And at that time, Baba said, Baba has come alone. He, because everybody had so much love for Brahma Baba. So Baba said, today he's come alone, but Baba can feel the pull of love of the children. And then in front of the bhog, there's normally flowers, like a little plate of flowers. And so Baba took one flower and put it on Dadi Kumarka, like this. And then Baba took another flower and put it on Didi's head. And so this was like the crowning ceremony, that both Dadi and Didi would now be your seniors, your elders. And Baba explained everything, that everything would continue as before. Children would come to Madhuban, all the systems will continue the same. They will continue to tour around. And that Baba would continue to guide everyone. Baba would continue to come in Avyakt form. And so in terms of Didi, yeah, Didi was, they always say Didi was #1 student. That Didi always had her pen and notebook with her and always there. They say she didn't miss a single Murli class from 1937 to 1983. Imagine. And imagine that Didi was brought up with so much wealth. In fact, all of these Dadis, Brijendra Dadi, Santri Dadi, all of them had their own one personal maid. Of course, 8-10 servants in the house, but each of them had their own maid. And all they had to do was ring a bell and they would bring water, they would bring food, they would bring... But now, none of that. And they all had to do the Yajna Seva. And so Mama was #1 in that. Of course, Didi was #1 in that. And Didi had a lot of love for studying. Didi actually loved to listen to the Bhagavad Gita before. And so when she came into Gyan, she realized that this is really the knowledge that she was seeking. This is the real Gita. And that is the real Krishna, right? The Brahma Baba was actually the real Krishna. So the point is that, yeah, despite having so much facilities and despite having so much wealth, Didi was not happy. So when she came and she found Baba and she found this knowledge, it was like finding happiness. The same story actually applies to Brijendra Dadi. Brijendra Dadi said that she too came from a very rich and also famous family. But she wanted to become Meera. She said, the proposals would come. Marry this one, marry this one. But she said, I was looking for somebody divine. I was looking for somebody who had those bhakti sanskars. So you can see even at the end of the Iron Age, they still had those pure bhakti sanskars. Even Brahma Baba. Why did everybody have the pull? Why did Didi? Didi said, I had the pull to Baba's house because he was genuinely a good devotee. Others would do devotion because of show. But Baba did devotion with his pure heart, with his honesty. And so this is why everybody was feeling pulled to Baba's house. So yeah, Didi, as I said, was a good administrator. I think all of you know that they used to say that there's 2 bodies and 1 soul, right? So do jism and ek ruh. So Didi and Dadi, imagine, like actually even in the West, we have had management gurus. And they have said in their speeches that normally, they said normally when you put women together, they can't live together. They argue, they fight. But here, these 2 are running the organization together. That is incredible, isn't it? And Didi was married. Didi was senior and married, had more experience. But yet, she also kept Dadi Kumarka in front. Dadi Kumarka was a Kumari. But she kept her in front also. So this was Didi's humility. I already mentioned about Didi's generosity, Didi's discipline. Okay, we come to the love and law. So everyone used to say that Dadi Kumarka is love and Didi is law. Well, I want to say, I don't think it's law like this. It's not all the time Didi was like this. Didi was very sweet. But what I want to say is, when there was a situation that needed to be dealt with, then Didi would deal with it with some sternness. So say there was some disobedience or something like that. Actually, I remember one time I was in the car with Dadi Janki, and Dadi Janki was talking to Shashiben. And Dadi Janki said to Shashiben, in Hindi, she said, "Ye halka nahi chodna hai." Ye halka nahi chodna means don't take it lightly. Didi aise nahi karti. She said, Didi would not do it like this. So there had been some incident. And so Dadi was telling Shashiben, don't treat it too lightly that the other person doesn't learn the lesson. And so that's what I'm saying. It's not that Didi was law all the time, like don't do this, don't do that, don't go, not like that. But when there was something that needed, some strict discipline, then Didi was there, and this was then missing afterwards. Dadi Kumarka was great. Dadi Kumarka was embodiment of love. But Dadi would just, let them go with love. But Didi would always put things right. And then, of course, Didi's service. Didi was a great speaker. I think so now there's lots of her little speeches going around on the WhatsApp with a lot of sweetness, with a lot of patience, in a yogyukt way. Didi would give the knowledge where they would become touched, where they would feel like we want to renounce, we want to live this life. And this was the beauty of all the seniors. When they said something, it touched the other person. Like Baba says, when you are embodiment of that dharna, then whatever you say, it touches. The arrow will hit the target. So even if they speak little, but the arrow hits the target. Like, for example, Queen Mother had told, Queen Mother, Didi's mother, had told Dadi Janki to go and see Mama. That's how she was introduced. She said, there is Mama, why don't you go and see her? She's a nice person. So Dadi Janki went to see Mama. And that's how then she started coming every day. And one day Dadi Janki came wearing this shawl. And Mama said to her, I think you should remove this shawl, because it's given to you by your lockets. And she said, yes, Mama, you're right. And so Mama said, for as long as you wear that shawl, you will be pulled to your lockets. And Dadi Janki said, after that day, that's it. She never took anything from her lockets. And if she took something from her locket, then she would immediately put it in the bandara. She would put it in the treasure store and whoever wanted could take from there. But she would not personally take benefit from that, because again, her intellect would be pulled. In fact, I tell you another story in connection with that. So Dadi Janki was telling Baba, I feel good about everything, but from time to time, I'm not having good yoga. Inside, I'm feeling great, everything's good, but from time to time, I'm not having good yoga. So then Baba said to her, you have broken your attachment to your family, but they have not broken their attachment to you. And so Baba said that you have to have yoga to break. Imagine I have to have yoga, so I break their attachment to me. Is it clear? Can you hear me? Because it said internet not stable. Okay, yeah. Do you see? So this is that's what I'm saying. Anything they said, it just struck once, and it hit the target, and they just started to do. That's it. These seniors of ours, Didi, anyone, they didn't need to be told again and again and again. Baba would tell them once, child, don't do this. Child, do it like this. And they would immediately implement. And there was power in that. Let me tell you, there was power in doing something when you hear it the first time. When you are being told to do something and you don't do it, you lose that opportunity and you lose that blessing. And imagine, who is it coming from? Actually, as I'm telling you, as I'm hearing about Baba, I'm just feeling like we are so lucky that we have this connection with Baba. We are the direct descendants of Brahma Baba. And he was Adam, he was number one. He was number one soul in the cycle. And here we know him, and then we're connecting with him. And I mean, we know so much about him, and we are getting the sweet Murli from his mouth. It is amazing. So anyway, very lovely feeling about that. Now, the few minutes I have left, I would like to speak about the service in the Middle East. So, yes, I want to say that it's not easy, but really with Baba's help and really with Baba's support, the service gets done here. And if it wasn't for Baba, really, the service wouldn't be happening. I mean, there's only so much I can say now, but I want to say that from the very start of the Middle East service, we have always had to go slowly, and we have always had to be very understanding, and we have always had to give this, we say, slow drip method. Slow drip, you know, when you put a drip, the medicine, the water. So it's slow drip. So when we give the meditation course in the Middle East, we take like 3 months. It's not 7 days. It's 3 months, because the first few weeks we are talking about soul, we are talking about just meditation. We might go into a little bit of karma, the powers. And then if they're interested, we go a bit deeper into the other philosophy. And if they're interested, we make it very clear to them that this is the philosophy, the Raj Yoga philosophy that is being taught by the Brahmakumaris in India. And if they're interested in that, they continue with that. So every step of the way, we are being honest and very transparent. So we offer the meditation course. So yes, they come to do the meditation course. If after that they want to stop, we say, okay, you know how to meditate now, you can go and meditate. But then some will say, no, I want to know more, and I want to study more. And then we say, okay. And then we give them more sessions on the cycle and on the tree, etc. And even the principles, we leave that till the end. We leave that till when they start hearing the Murlis. But I want to tell you that there is Baba's magic. So I'll tell you a few stories about Baba's magic. So I remember one time we wanted to do a Diwali program. And so at that time we had a nice big house, we had a swimming pool. And so we would be doing the programs around the swimming pool with microphone and speakers and all of that. But that day we thought, as well as a program, why don't we have sitting down dinner, candlelight dinner? So we had invited, we were inviting some senior members of the Kuwaiti family, as well as the Indians in Kuwait. And so all day we were preparing, right? Food and everything. And then can you believe at 4 o'clock, there suddenly started to be a sandstorm. And the sandstorm is like, I don't know if you've seen the sandstorm, but it would be like for you, like fog, right? So fog is water at least, but the sandstorm, it's dust. And it's very bad. You cannot stand outside. You cannot breathe properly. And everything gets dusty. And if you have your windows or even at the bottom of the doors, the sand comes in through the doors. So it's very, very bad. So that time it started, okay? It started about 3 o'clock, but then 4 o'clock, I started to have to think. I thought, what should we do? Because we want to do this program outside. And we've invited all these people. And one of the people that was inviting some VIPs, he phoned me and he said to me, he said, Sister Aruna. I said, yes, brother. He said, where is your Baba now? Why is it so dusty now? And I said, yes, brother, yes. I had no answer for him, right? I said, okay, let's just wait and see. Anyway, I put the phone down from him. And then everybody who was in the house, I said to them, okay, you know what? We are going to go and meditate in Baba's room, and we are going to tell Baba, Baba, where are you now? We are doing this program, inviting the cream of Kuwait, and you have to help us. So we went to meditate in Baba's room. We meditated about 15, 20 minutes. And after that, of course, in my mind, I keep telling Baba, Baba, please, you have to keep our honor. You know, all these people are committed to come, and this is our opportunity. It's Diwali. We can give Baba's message openly. And then you know what? After 5 o'clock, again, the weather started to change. By 6 o'clock, it changed completely. And so last minute, we put everything out, and extra brothers had come by then from work. And so within the hour, between 6 and 7, we laid the table nicely, flowers, candles, everything, the mic system. The food was anyway getting ready in the kitchen. And the program happened. And Baba's magic, really. Is it Baba's magic, or is it the elements? But I feel that, you know, I don't know, I feel it was like our bhavana for Baba and saying, Baba, where are you really? Where are you? And then other things like, you know, in terms of the rent, say the rent is reduced, or in terms of getting permissions to do certain things, to do programs, many things like that. In terms of the students, we have small family of Arab students, but very lovely family, very sweet. There is a brother that actually speaks Hindi now because he hears the Hindi Murli every day. And he learned Hindi just to be able to read the Hindi Murli, to hear the Hindi. He said, I wanted to hear directly Baba's versions. And he's an Arab brother and young brother and from a rich family. And again, he has everything. But again, somehow Baba's child. And I was asking him recently, I said, did you go on YouTube to learn Hindi? And he said, no. He said, Hindi is the words are similar to Arabic. And so he said, I just got the alphabet and I learned the alphabet myself. And then I started looking at the words in the Murli. And actually, he was coming for Hindi Murli at 5:15 for 2 years. At 5:15 hour, Amrit Vela shower, Murli. If he had time, he would stay on for the English Murli at 6:30. Then he goes to work. And then there's another example, another sister. So again, they are royal families. They have 3 drivers. She had never been into the kitchen. She had never seen the face of the kitchen because anytime you just tell the maids, okay, make this and bring this. And then she started cooking. And now wherever she goes, she cooks herself. Even now they've gone on holiday and she's taken her pots and she rents a kitchen flat and she cooks herself. Then we have another sister here who, again, very busy lifestyle, very busy life. And she has already packed a suitcase. So in this suitcase is her rice cooker, is her little grill, little saucepan, little frying pan, spoons, spatula, a little box of spices, everything, little cute, everything. Tea towel. On the side, she has Baba's picture and Brahma Baba's picture. And wherever she goes, this bag is ready. Her maid prepares the bag and it's ready. And she carries a few vegetables and rice. And when she goes, she makes and then she buys the rest from there. So, you know, when people question and when people say, how is it possible? Well, it's possible. It's possible. If you want to, you know, like we say, Jaha cha, Mahara. Where there is a will, there is a way. So really, if you want to really follow the disciplines, you can find your way. And really, Baba helps. I really believe Baba helps. And in terms of me, I just feel that really Baba gives me the strength to be here. Gives me, because actually what there is nothing. Okay, there is oil. But in terms of, it's a very different society. It's not like India where you get to know each other, you say hello to each other, you see lots of people on the street. No, everybody lives in their own world, in their own community, in their own families. You see very few people actually on the street. And so it's a bit of a closed society in that sense. And so, yes, I've been in Kuwait now for like 13 years, but it's more my base actually. From here, I was traveling a lot, but the last year and a half, I've been here. Well, I was in London and now I'm here. And really, I want to say it's really Baba's magic. Baba's getting his work done. And this point that everything is accurate. So this is the last point I want to make, that where you think that something's going wrong, it's not going wrong. It's some secret in the drama. And again, this is my latest point and latest experience and the latest thing that I am reinforcing in myself, that really everything that's happening is absolutely accurate. And so don't forget that everything that's happening, there's a reason why it's happening. And it's all positive. So Meena Ben, thank you so much.
Thank you, Didi. Thank you so much, Didi.
Being with all of you. And
Thank you, Didi.
the afternoon, and I hope it's been of benefit.
Thank you, Didi. Thank you so much. आपने बहुत अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस हम सबके साथ शेयर किए, बाबा, दादी, दीदी, और अपने खुद का भी अनुभव आपने इतने अच्छे तरीके से हम सबके सामने रखा। हम सभी उसी आपके साथ वही ट्रैवलिंग में थे, जैसे मधुबन में दादियों के साथ, बाबा के साथ, जैसे आप एक्सप्लेन कर रहे थे, हम ऐसे क्लास नहीं सुन रहे थे, तो उसी यात्रा में थे। तो दीदी बहुत अच्छी तरह से आपने कितनी बातें इतने शॉर्ट टाइम में, कितने बड़ा खजाना हम सबको दिया। दीदी, हम सब की तरफ से, सभी भाई बहनों की तरफ से आपको बहुत 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 दिल से शुक्रिया दीदी, शुक्रिया शुक्रिया शुक्रिया।
Thank you.
दीदी बाबा की याद में बैठेंगे
जी।
നമുക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും മെഡിറ്റേഷൻ ചെയ്യാം. അതിനുശേഷം മെഡിറ്റേഷന് ശേഷം എല്ലാവരും ഒരു കൈ ഉയർത്തി ദീദിക്ക് യാത്ര പറയാം. ഇപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് ദൃഷ്ടിയെടുക്കാം ദീദിയിൽ നിന്ന്. No for you, but
I just want to say one thing. Yes, so there was a story of Dadi Chandramani, and so Chandramani Dadi had fever, and so then Didi said to her, "What's the problem?" And she said, "I have fever." And Didi said, "You don't have fever. Your body has fever." And Didi said, "Always think that you, the soul, are separate and the soul is well. The body is sick." And so we always remember that we have to go home. The soul is well and we have to go home. And this is the song, right? This is why we are hearing this song now, Ab Ghar Jana Hai, because this was Didi's slogan all the time. That always think I have to go home.
थैंक यू दीदी। आपने बहुत इंसिडेंट, ऐसे बहुत अच्छे अच्छे अनुभव हमने पहले नहीं सुना था, वो भी आपने शेयर किया। थैंक यू।
जहाँ का वासी सब आत्माएं जहाँ से आती, जिस घर के हम सब हैं भांति जहाँ आत्मा शांति पाती। शांति धाम या ब्रह्मलोक वो, शांति धाम या ब्रह्मलोक वो, उसे न कभी भुलाना है। अब घर जाना है कि अब घर जाना है, कब घर जाना है कि अब घर जाना है। शांति का संदेश सुनाए, शांति की किरणें फैलाए। शांति कुंड की ज्योति से हर एक ज्योति को जगाए। चलेंगे होकर देह से न्यारे, चलेंगे होकर देह से न्यारे, साथ सभी को जाना है। अब घर जाना है कि अब घर जाना है, अब घर जाना है कि अब घर जाना है। ज्ञान योग का यही है सार, जाना है इस जग के पार। परम धाम से आए हैं शिव, ले जाने हम सबको साथ। कल्प की है ये अंतिम बेला, कल्प की है ये अंतिम बेला, कर्मातीत बन जाना है। अब घर जाना है कि अब घर जाना है, अब घर जाना है कि अब घर जाना है। आदि अंत का मंत्र यही है, सबको यही सुनाना है। अब घर जाना है कि अब घर जाना है, अब घर जाना है कि अब घर जाना है, अब घर जाना है कि अब।
दीदी फेसबुक में, जूम में और YouTube में सब सुन रहे हैं। जो अभी फोन में है सभी आपको एक साथ से अपना थैंक्स दे रहे दीदी। थैंक यू सो मच दीदी।